Very few child stars captured the world's heart the way Dana Plato did. For millions, she will always be known as Kimberly Drummond from the classic sitcom Different Strokes. A bright smile, a sweet personality, and a girl whose innocence defined an era. But when shocking topless photos of her resurfaced online recently, the internet froze in disbelief. Not because the images were new, but because of the bittersweet memories, the controversy, and the painful legacy attached to her life. People weren't gasping at her body, they were gasping at the story behind it. The uproar began when a celebrity archive page unexpectedly posted a set of old photos from Dana's complicated adult years. She was no longer the teenage star audiences remembered. These images were from a time when her life had spiraled, years after Hollywood turned its back on her, years after she struggled with addiction, loneliness, and the heavy burden of fame. The internet wasn't prepared for the emotional reaction that followed. Fans rushed to defend her, saying she had been exploited her entire life. They insisted she deserved compassion, not judgment. Many remembered how she was pushed into adulthood long before she was ready, facing pressures no teenager should endure. They pointed out how Hollywood brought her into the spotlight, adored her, profited off her, and then abandoned her when she needed help the most. But there were critics too. Some claimed she should never have posed for such photos, ignoring the fact that by the time she took them, she was struggling financially and emotionally, trying desperately to survive. People forgot that she wasn't a superstar at that time. She was a young woman trying to make a living in a world that had already turned cruel. As the debate spread across social media, fans began revisiting her story. They remembered how her life unraveled when she left Different Strokes. Opportunities dried up, money ran out, and the industry that once praised her refused to cast her. It was a heartbreaking fall from grace. Many now argue that Dana Plato's tragic life serves as a warning about the dark side of child stardom. But then something unexpected happened. Younger viewers who had never even watched the show became interested in the story. They looked up interviews, documentaries, and old clips of her acting. They discovered a girl full of life, humor, and innocence. And slowly, the topless photos became less about shock and more about reflection. People started discussing how fame can destroy a person if they don't have support, guidance, and protection. As the story gained traction, fans began sharing stories of how she touched their lives. Some remembered watching her on TV every week. Others remembered seeing her struggles broadcast in real time, wishing they could help. Some recalled the emotional interview she did on The Howard Stern Show, one of the last times she spoke publicly before her heartbreaking death in 1999. The resurfaced photos, instead of sparking scandal, sparked conversations that had been ignored for decades. Discussions about mental health, about addiction, about the entertainment industry's responsibility toward child actors. Dana's name was trending again, but this time in a way that highlighted her humanity rather than her tragedy. Many felt emotional seeing her pictures, not because they were topless, but because they represented the pain, pressure, and vulnerability she carried. They captured a woman trying to survive the only way she knew how. A woman who deserved help, not exploitation. A woman who deserved love, not judgment. By the end of the week, the outrage had transformed into empathy. Fans demanded she be remembered for her talent, her kindness, and her resilience, not for the mistakes she made during her darkest moments. People began rewatching her episodes, posting tributes, and reminding new generations of who she truly was. Dana Plato's resurfaced photos didn't just cause people to gasp, they caused them to think, to feel, and to remember. They forced the world to look back at a life that was shining, fragile, and heartbreakingly short. And as long as the internet keeps her memory alive, those photos will no longer define her story. Her legacy will.